I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I got eyes in the back of my head, I'm seeing. Take me for granted and you know I'm leaving. I'ma take what's mine with the webs I'm weaving. I could take this crowd from seeing to believing. Got a taste for blood and my tongue keeps bleeding. From the words I spit, so sharp, so freezing. So cold, behold, frostbite they feeling. I could tear you apart or I could go heal them. Don't believe in fate, don't believe in ceilings. I just need a taste and my mind starts peeling. I don't pace myself, I grind on kneeling. Got lust for change, I just love the feeling. I ain't gonna give up. Got too little time, I'ma live up. Head down, push forward through the tough times. Cause anything worth doing is a tough climb. And I ain't gonna give up. Got too little time, I'ma live up. Head down, push forward through the tough times. Cause anything worth doing is a tough climb. Cause I'ma live life for the fight, yeah, I'm here to get it. I got drive, got sight, always have a vision. I go by at night, I be in my feelings. I'ma be fine, need time, and I'll soon be winning. I live life for the fight, yeah, I'm here to get it. I got drive, got sight, always have...
Hello, everyone. How are you today? I'm Kelly King, better known as the Detroit Atheist Queen, and this is Secular Activism Unfiltered, where I speak to those in the community who just want to make a change, make a difference, make a better. And I have a special guest who needs no introduction, Scott Dickie.
Needs no introduction. All right. I love that. Thanks so much, Kelly. That was awesome. By the way, I was really digging your intro there. That was pretty sweet.
Yeah. If anybody knows, it's Jess from How to Rule an Asteroid. She's the one who does basically so many people's stuff. Yeah, but look her up.
All right.
She was on Truth Wanted recently, and she also does call screening for the line.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
Awesome. All right.
Okay. So I usually go around and I ask a couple of questions.
All right, let's do it.
First question I ask is, have you ever been religious?
Have I? That's a good question. It makes sense. There's a lot of people in our community that have come out of religious tradition and so forth. Here's how I describe myself. I don't remember ever believing in God. My family's religious. I was raised going to church. I did Sunday school, vacation Bible school, the whole 9 yards. I may have been religious and I just have forgotten, but I don't remember ever thinking, oh, there really is a God thing. I don't remember ever feeling that. Actually, one of my earliest church memories is being in Sunday school, and we were talking about Noah's Ark or something. And I remember reading the story, and then some other kids would ask things like, oh, how did they fit all the animals on there? And where did they get all the food and stuff like that? And I just remember thinking to the students, no, it's not meant to be a literal story. It's just meant to, it's an allegory. It's meant to convey a message. But then the adults in the room would say, well, that's a good question. Let's look at that. How did they get all? And I realized at that moment that the adults actually were thinking the story was real as well. And that's when I knew that, okay, I'm different than all of these people somehow. And so that, I knew that, okay, something is clicking for them that's not clicking for me, or vice versa.
Yeah, that's kind of my dog. I don't know if my dog want to leave the room or not. She kind of pacing around. I'm gonna have to put her out in a minute. But that's the one thing that I don't know. I looked at it, and now I can do this now. But when an adult said something, it was like, well, they said it. They know more than I do, so it's probably true.
Right. Yeah.
So that was my mindset thinking, even though I did wonder things about the Bible. But I'm like, but everybody around me says that it's true, so it has to be true because.
Well, kids are really vulnerable at young age. I mean, our natural growth developmental process, we learn to rapidly. I don't know if I would even say we learn it, but we rapidly develop the inclination to just take what adults tell us, as being true. And I can see reason behind it too. If an adult says to a child, "This is poisonous, don't eat it," and you're like, "No, I don't believe them," and you go eat it, then you die, right? Then you're out of the
Yeah.
you're out of the gene pool. And so, it makes sense that that children would be uh prone to just accepting what adults tell them. But the drawback to that is all this kind of irrational nonsense gets put into the kids' heads. If the adults think it's true, then then the kids are more likely to just go along with what their parents or their grandparents or whatever, their teachers, that kind of thing, without question. And that's when we get into trouble, I think.
Yeah, that was like my oldest when she was growing up, and I had to had to go to church.
Hmm.
Even if I was sick, somebody from the church would pick him up, take him to church, and
Right.
she would just get so irritated. And she was, I just don't like it. I just am wrong. Something right with it. And I
She
was
just
like,
didn't want to go because it was unpleasant, or just because, or was it because of, was it a,
eventually she did tell me that she's also a non-believer.
uh
She did eventually tell me that she didn't believe. She was like, "Ma, I got something." She was like, "I got something to tell you, Mom."
mm-hmm.
She was like, "I've been questioning this religion for a long time. I don't think that it's real."
Hmm.
And it was so funny because I messaged her like, actually, you don't feel so bad because I'm trying to think the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember you and I were talking about this when we met in Austin last summer. So,
Yeah,
yeah. So did that help you? I mean, was that
it did
what
help me a
in what
lot.
stage of your deconstruction was that happening?
I
Was
was
it
just in the beginning part of it.
okay?
So at that point, I think I was like, maybe I'm deist, where, a God created everything, but he's no longer here.
Right, right. Yeah, I went through a similar phase myself. And I think a lot of it had to do with trying to rationalize this thing that my parents believe, in that, and not just my parents, but obviously primarily they're the people that raised me. And so they're the ones that, you learn to trust from an early age. But, well, I lost my train of thought.
I do it all the time.
Yeah. Boy, okay. So maybe that train will come back around to the track at some point. But
Let me put
um
sugar out.
we were talking, yeah.
Your parents, know something about your parents, you were saying.
Um I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe we'll think about it in a few
We
minutes.
will. Yeah, if it's important, it'll come back.
Yeah, so I'm about to mess my daughter to get my dog. She wanted to come in here, and now she's looking around like, why am I in this room for? So
We do believe in dog,
yes,
just not God. Right.
yes. We honor old dog. So I know with me, when the exact date that I remember exact date, and it will be 10 years next year. I keep saying 10 years, but I'm 9 years now.
Okay.
But it was around 4th of July.
All right.
And I remember sitting around the family and everything. And Mom said something about Jesus or something. And
Mm-hmm.
he didn't know that I was atheist at the time.
Right.
And maybe I was agnostic. I consider myself, then I was like agnostic for a minute. And I was like, you know what? F that. I don't believe none of this.
Hmm. Okay.
Why
So
am
that
I
was the
even?
first time you admitted to yourself that that
Yeah,
you didn't believe it?
yeah. But I
Awesome.
end up talking to some my kids. I have 5 children.
Mm-hmm.
Talking to a couple of my kids, and so my mom was saying Jesus, and so I gave a generic answer to kind of pacify it because I
Right.
didn't want Mom to know that I was not a believer anymore. And so one of my daughters came up, not the one who was atheist, was like, "Mom, you don't believe? Mom don't believe in God anyway." To my mom, who didn't know,
Mm-hmm.
and she was like, "How dare you? You don't believe in Jesus. And
For
and
shame,
then
for shame.
my other daughter, she's like, I don't either.
Oh, okay.
And mom looked and was shocked. And she just went off the handle on me and you're going to hell, blah, blah,
Mm.
blah. And then
But
she
you know,
called.
you bring up a good point there. I mean, that's why it's important that we have these spaces for people who just don't find the arguments convincing to communicate with each other. Because there you were, some of your own kids already were having doubts about their religion and didn't even know that each other. They thought they were alone. They thought they were the
Yeah,
only one, and then they hear somebody else saying that, and they're like, "Oh yeah, me too. It's okay. It must be okay to think that then." You're
yeah,
around people that say it's bad if you doubt this. It's bad if you don't think this,
yeah.
and that affects you, and it makes you feel, um, bad for thinking those things, and when
It
that shouldn't be
does.
the
It
case,
really
you're
does.
just following, you're just following the logic, following the argument, following the evidence, and yeah, so it's I think it's really really important for spaces like secular activism unfiltered, right? And, so that way we can get messages out there, and part of I don't want to say spreading the message, because that's not really what we're doing, or at least
Yeah.
that's not what I'm doing. I just want to have conversation, and I want all of us to get together and pursue the truth. That's really what I want. I don't have anything against religion per se, other than the fact that it's just not a rational belief, and so I'll throw that in the heap with other irrational beliefs as well. And so but yeah, being able to see other people that think like you do makes it easier to for you to process your own thoughts, I think.
Especially in my community where I looked up and I was the only black person. Now
Yeah.
I realize it's not only me now.
Right,
But
right.
like maybe something's wrong with me because I'm the only black person who believes that there's no God. And I
Right,
was
right. Yeah.
went through a depressive state.
That's especially why it's important that that we have a wide variety of representation when we're doing this kind of stuff. And so that way people can see, oh, there's somebody that's like me. Oh, there's somebody that grew up like I did. Oh, there's somebody whose parents are just like that. Oh, I totally relate to your parents, and things like that. And so all of it helps to make people, we shouldn't believe things because of social pressure. We shouldn't believe things because that's the way that our family has always done it. We should believe things because they're true. and
Exactly.
and so if all we're doing is pursuing what's true, then I don't see what could be wrong with that. But I guess I guess haters gotta hate, right?
Of course, yeah. You don't even research and you know, I'm gonna bring it to the thing with the call-in shows, and that was one of the big things that I helped me
Hmm.
when I was deconstructing because I was able to listen or be around people that also, even though I didn't see them um, physically,
Right.
but it was able to, man. And then I remember going there and looking and seeing it. Once in a while, it would be a black host. There is black people,
And
you
the
know.
fact that you notice things like that highlights the fact that they're really not as common as they should be. And
Yeah,
so like if you see a black host or a woman host, or a Latino host or an Asian American host or something like that, then you say, oh, there's people like me in this movement too. It's not just old white guys, right?
yeah.
And so
Well, I like the white. I like the old white guy next to me. He seems pretty cool.
well, we try, right? We try.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So, you, well, I guess you never was believed in it, but what
Yeah.
made you become more open in it and
Right.
decide to be more? I'm gonna say activist
Hmm.
because I do consider being a calling host activist.
Yep.
What considered you to to come out more? I don't know if you
Right.
always was out. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, like you were saying before, maybe this is the thing I was trying to remember earlier, as I was going through my own process of trying to figure out, kind of where I'm at, I mentioned that I wasn't sure if I believed when I was younger, but I did go through a similar kind of phase, like, well, maybe what's really happening here is this nature is really what God is, and I went through all of the phases, and I think it had a lot to do with trying to rationalize what I see and what my reason tells me, versus what people tell me, and people that I trusted and loved, what they told me, and so trying to rationalize that. But I went through that whole kind of phase and came out the other end. And I finally just said, well, yeah, I'm an atheist. I don't believe this. I don't believe in a God, and that means I'm an atheist, and I should be able to say it. And I was comfortable with that for a while, and then I started listening to some of the. Excuse me, my tea is just not settling with me today. Sorry about that. I'll try
Oh,
not
you're
to
fine.
belch into the mic here. But I started watching a lot of the content, and what I realized is, and this would have been like maybe 15 years ago, maybe 20 years ago, maybe 15ish. I was starting to realize, oh, there's lots of people that think like this, but it's important as we were talking about, it's important to have representation. It's important for people to be able to stand up and say things. And so that's really what got me kind of going, is I would see shows like, the Atheist Experience and other shows. And it wasn't that they convinced me that I was an atheist. It's that they convinced me that the value of speaking out, as you mentioned, there's lots of people out there that think that they're the only one, right there, that they think, no, there's no other atheists around them. And so I do think, in addition to us being able to see our own faces on the screen, we also, helps if we see just people in general just being out there. And I knew that I was, I felt like I had some privilege because of, happenstance of my birth. And so I don't experience a lot of the hardships that other people do. And so what I can do is use my voice then to maybe get the ball rolling on the discussion, or maybe just kind of put a little, crack in the dam for somebody looking to the screen. And so I thought, well, I'm comfortable. I feel safe using my name. I feel safe saying these things on the internet. And so I felt there was somewhat of a responsibility to do that. There are
Okay.
people all over the place that can't talk about this kind of thing because their family will reject them. They'll lose their job. They might even be physically abused or even killed. And so it's can we say that on here? Do I have to couch
I
the
don't. I'm not monetized. I don't think I've
oh,
said it a few times. I think
okay, all right. Let me know if I need if I
unalive. They
need to
like you to
TikTok
say
eyes my my speaking here.
unalive. They
Right.
say
Yeah.
raped.
But yeah, but I felt this is a way that I can help out. I can kind of get the ball moving in that direction. And so that was the big change for me. It was about 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And of course, I started out like many people do, just interacting with people on social media, just having discussions. There's a lot out there with just people like bickering at each other and, calling each other names and stuff. That never really sat well with me. I like having like a good conversation with somebody. I like to sit down like what we're doing right now. I like to talk,
Yeah.
sit face to face with somebody, virtually in this case, and have a good heart to heart talk with somebody. And that way we're not going to be worried about people misunderstanding, something that I type in, or, not understanding my tone. That communication, I think, is a really strong tool. And it's something that we still have available to us. And so I think communication is a big key. And so that's how I decided then that I'm going to pursue this. I'm going to, be an activist, whatever that means. And so then right around that time, this would have been maybe 6-7 years ago.
Okay.
6-7 years ago, then I was having a conversation with somebody on Facebook, and he and I kind of he was a conservative religious minister.
Okay.
and he was kind of thinking of maybe starting up an apologetics kind of, I don't know if it was business or just something that he did.
Okay.
And so he and I were talking, and then we just thought, you know what, let's do a podcast together. And so we decided, neither of us knew what the heck we were doing, and
like me now.
yeah, but you just got to get in there and do it, right? You just got to roll up your sleeves and and go and get dirty. And so we put together a little podcast. It was called God or Not, and the theme of the show
So he
was
religious and you weren't.
he was religious and I wasn't. He was from Ohio and was very right-wing conservative. They were they were kind of hardcore. I think he said he was a Baptist, but it was very, they did all of, it was very intense. They did the speaking in tongues kind of thing. And I think he said they even did some of the snake stuff too. I can't remember. I don't want to, say anything that I'm not sure is true, but I think that was the case.
Okay.
Anyway, he was a very intense in his religion. And so we had some really interesting discussions, and, we came to some, we were able to find common ground in many cases, and in some cases we didn't. And so that lasted, I think about 20 or so episodes.
Okay.
And then we just kind of filtered out. But that was fun. But that was my first taste of the whole, putting myself out there kind of
Can you find these episodes?
Yeah, we're on. If you you can go God or Not podcast. I think there's a website, godornotpodcast.com.
Okay.
And then you can also find us on like Apple Podcasts and stuff like that.
Okay.
too.
Okay. I do have Apple.
So we're on there. So it was a while ago. It's I wasn't
Yeah.
the finely polished instrument you see in front of you today.
But it's nice to see what you.
But it was fun. It was.
I mean,
it
that's
was fun
probably
to do.
Be me. I'm gonna look up years later. I'm doing something else. And...
Yeah. It was a lot of fun, but it got me. Then one of the volunteer coordinator at the ACA, at the Atheist Community of Austin, saw some of that and invited me to come and be on the nonprofits. And so then I was on the nonprofits for a few years, and now I'm on Talk Heathen and occasionally on some of the other shows too. And so I got enough on my plate to keep me busy, to feel satisfied that I'm, scratching that itch, but still not so much that it overwhelms the rest of my life.
Do you think that you'll eventually try to do something else on your own again?
I had thought about it, and knowing myself and my own ability to, I'm easily distracted, and it's hard for me to, if I did start my own content, I don't think it would last very long. And so I know myself going into it. And so I'm like, okay, I'll just be happy with the stuff that I'm doing now. I get to be on my friends' shows and talk about stuff. I still get to be on, Talk Heathen often enough that like I said, I can scratch that itch there. That was a long answer. The short answer is I probably won't be throwing out. Oh, thanks, Ancher, for sharing that. I probably won't be doing anything more, but you never know. You never know, right?
In your field, do people know that you're not religious, or you keep that part separate?
At work?
Yeah.
I usually try to keep it separate, although I don't go out of my way to avoid talking on it. But I just don't bring it up for anybody that's not familiar with me, which is probably pretty much everybody except for Kelly here. But I'm a teacher. I'm a math teacher at a community college here in Minnesota, and so as a state employee, and I work at a public school, and so
you definitely
so I usually don't bring it up. I mean, if somebody asks me, I'm fine saying it, but I
you
definitely
work in a public school,
right?
Yeah, you really got to be quiet. Yeah, you don't want.
Yeah, you do have to be considerate of other people's right to.
Yes.
And I do. And I also recognize that as a teacher, I'm in a position of authority, even if it's, even if we're talking about something that's not like part of my class or something, that, students look at teachers as authority figures. And so, just like we were talking before about how young kids just believe what their parents say, I think some of that instinct applies when students are interacting with teachers as well. And so, as a teacher, I need to be very cautious about the way that I approach that. But again, I have a right to my own, religious beliefs or
Yes,
non-religious
exactly.
beliefs. And, so if somebody asks me about it, I'll say something. But again, I generally, and I for sure keep it out of my lessons. I for sure don't, I try to avoid bringing up, uh, I try to avoid bringing up religion, just in general. And so far I've done okay. I mean, I've had a few students kind of hook up with me maybe after a class or something, and ask me
Okay.
and that kind of thing. I do have a couple of students that, once they were no longer my students, approached me about being atheist, and some of them were, feeling the same way. And, we've had chats too, um, but I try to avoid it in my classroom as well. And, a really interesting thing happened. Maybe it was about a year ago. Uh, I generally don't talk about religion with my coworkers either. But
Yeah.
most of them know. Most of them
Okay.
know that I'm an atheist. Some of them are friends with me on social media, and so they'll see some of the stuff that I put up. And so, I think, in general, they know. But about a year ago, a coworker of mine, I'm sitting in my office on campus, and a coworker walks in and says, "Scott, are you a host on Talk Heathen?" And I was like, "As a matter of fact, I am." She was like, "Oh, that's so cool." And then so, we had a little chat. I was like, "Oh, I didn't even, are you an
Awesome.
atheist? Do you watch the show?" She's like, "Yeah." And so that was pretty cool. That was kind of a neat little surprise. Again, highlighting the fact that there's other atheists out there, and sometimes you'll never even know. And
Yeah.
then, someday they'll just say, "Oh, I'm an atheist." And you're like, "Really? Oh, yeah, me too." And then, you can have that little moment there.
Yeah. My job, I work, I won't say where I work, but I'm on the assembly line.
Hmm.
And so I'm not really out. People, if like, there's one lady at my job constantly was mentioning religion,
Hmm.
and I got tired of it. So I did tell her that I was.
Did she
Man, you
respect
would
that then?
not at
Or did she
all.
double down
Oh,
then?
double down. Oh,
Oh, okay.
she was nasty with it.
Hmm.
And I'll tell you, so we started talking and everything, and I'm trying to. And some of the stuff she was saying, we talked about Noah's Ark. We talked about before the Noah's Ark and stuff.
Hmm.
And yeah, she was very surprised that I was Robin with Noah's Ark and stuff. And I started telling her like why it wouldn't be rational for this magic zoo bus boat to be in
Right, right.
existence. Oh,
So you work on an assembly line, so you probably spend a lot of time with basically the same small group of people then,
yeah.
right?
I
And
spend more
and
time than I do actually at home. I'm there like 10 hours a day, sometimes 6 days a week.
yeah, but you're probably around that same like 5, 6, 8 people, right? That kind of work in that same area as you do, and so you probably get to know each other, and really, and it just seems weird that somebody would be so aggressive with their religious beliefs in a work environment. It seems like a strange thing to me, and I just don't even get it.
Yeah, like the same person I was talking about. I'm also treasurer for Michigan Atheists, besides being Black Unbelievers
Hmm.
affiliate leader. And so I'm like, we advocate for separation of church and state. She had to fit about that. I said, if you want to worship whatever God or not, that's your business. Don't force anybody else to conform to what you want to do.
Right, right.
And that's my standpoint on it. Yeah, and if you want to go to church.
Right, yeah,
Don't want to go to church, go
your
to church.
position was,
If you
we
want to
can
be a
all be
pagan,
different.
be a pagan. I don't care.
Yeah, yeah,
My
it's
just don't put
frustrating. It's
me in. Don't
frustrating to
force
deal
me
with.
to do what you want to do.
Right,
That's not my life.
right.
I'm not gonna do that. So I've had a problem with that. So
And then
then
they
I'll take my
react like you're preventing them from expressing their beliefs. They're trying to
exactly.
say that you are doing something wrong and that you can't be doing what you're doing and that you have to be like them.
Yeah,
That
it's
seems to
hard.
me to be the opposite of freedom of religion. If you're trying to
It's
force
not,
everybody to be your same religion, then that's, you know,
because they
if
don't
in
want
order for
freedom from
religion to be
religion.
free, you have to be free to not follow a particular religion, which would have to include the freedom to not follow any religion. You would think, but you know, it's you know, we're not in a world where people do where people
But
often think.
but from that conversation, it was so funny. I had another coworker was around us, and she went to the other person
Hmm.
and was like, "You need to shut up and listen to Kelly, what she's talking about. She's making a lot of sense if you just
Wow.
listen."
All right.
And
I
then she
applaud that
came
friend.
up to
That was a
me,
bold move.
and then she came up to me and was like, "I can't believe I'm atheist, but I'm agnostic." And smiled. She was like, "But I can't be open like you."
Right, right.
I said, "Well, it took me some time. I wasn't open like this.
Hmm.
I would just listen to somebody, because I one time, this was a couple years ago, like I really was quiet. I was not an affiliate leader. I was just living my life.
Hmm.
And so I ended up finding and friending a couple, and we're still friends. Well, the Satanists, we're not, I don't talk to them anymore because
Hmm.
they somewhere, I want they out now. But it was a Wiccan,
Hmm.
a Satanist, and it was atheist. And we all would sit at lunch all the time. And some of my friends would be looking at me, "Why are you hanging with them weird white people?" But I had more in common I did with the well this
Right,
yeah,
right.
more
Yeah.
common with them. So that's what I was
Or the
around
things
with.
that you did have in common were more present to you, were more important to you at that point, at least as
Yeah.
far as interacting with your other coworkers, right? It was, yeah.
So one of them, not my other friend, not the atheist in them. No, not no.
Oh,
Actually,
that old
yes.
chestnut.
Yes, I did. We did go to a bar together.
Oh, that was a good one.
But so anyway, so one of my friends, and she was like, "I can't believe anybody cannot believe in God."
Hmm.
And I'm not saying anything. And she was like, "And if somebody don't believe in God, I don't want to be their friend. I
Right.
can't be no friend to nobody." So I grabbed my stuff and I walked away.
Well, if somebody says that, you know, I'm like, all right, thanks for letting me know that you would have been a bad friend.
Yeah, I walked away.
Yeah.
They end up like messaging me a few later, like, "Kelly, where did you go?" I said, "You hear what you just said, right?"
Right. Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh, I didn't know you were." I said, "Yeah." I mean, you don't seem like an atheist. People say, "You don't seem atheist." So why am I supposed to seem?
Right. Yeah.
It's assholes that are atheists, assholes that are Christians. It's good people that are Christians. And that don't, that
There's
you
plenty of
believe in
assholes to
God
go
and I believe
around.
in
We
God,
all
don't
have our
make you
little
a horrible
asshole
person or not.
contingency, right?
And she was like, "Oh." So like I speak to her sometime, but it's never be the same.
Hmm.
Like she'll call me something about work. I'll respond to that. But I'm like, "No, you just say you don't like me because I'm atheist." So there you
Right.
go.
Yeah. Say, before you mentioned, I wanted to ask you. You mentioned atheist and agnostic. I'm just curious as to what's your stance on those words. I mean, because that's kind of, you know, what people say. You know, atheist means this, and so if you say you're an atheist, you're this, or if they say agnostic means something else, then we'll see atheists say
It's
no,
so
no, no,
many
no, it means
different
this. And so, what are your thoughts on those? The words
it's so many
atheist and
different
agnostic. How are
things.
they the same or different or what?
They're different. Agnostic, you could be a theist, agnostic, meaning that I believe in God, but maybe it might not be true, or atheist agnostic, which I consider myself more. I don't believe there's a God,
Hmm.
but if there is, I would say deeper, and Ford says use this term, anti-theist. I think
Okay.
that's more me now.
Hmm.
Well, even if there is a God, fuck you.
Yeah, if there is a God, he's certainly not all that impressive.
I don't care if there is one or not. It really
Right,
doesn't
right.
bother me.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, some way, because if you're here and you watching all this stuff happening and you're not doing nothing, and you could have stopped it or prevented it from happening at all, you ain't doing it. Why I want to deal with you anyway?
Right, right, right. Whatever happened to all of that God is love stuff? Right.
Because he sure ain't showing love right now.
I'm not seeing a whole lot of love coming from the God is love people. It's they have that old saying, there's nobody hates like Christian love, right?
I'm like, nope, I don't even want to. I just don't understand how people. I really like your mug. It's really cool. I just don't. It doesn't really resonate with me, like this
Yep.
religious crap. And I understand being black people, being a black person. It was a way that we could have our meetings, and we would not have been do the Underground Railroad if we didn't have church to
Hmm.
hide and all that
Right,
stuff.
right. Yeah.
Civil rights movement. This is where we able to go to speak without, the slave owner or the whatever coming in and invading us.
Yeah. That's showing love. That's showing love right there. Willing to take it up to that level. But the other,
But now we don't
just
have to do that though.
right.
So Robin said they're having a debate with the Christians support the Second Amendment. Let us know when that's gonna be. I would love to watch it, Robin. Yeah. So I'm like, I don't really understand my train of thought. That's what I get for thinking about something else. Yeah, but I don't understand how you still believe or you think that this is the way it's supposed to be as a black person.
Hmm.
And I'm like, what about slavery? This God loves us so much, he put us in slavery
Right.
all these years. Didn't help us
You'd
get
think
out.
that would be a red flag.
But God is good all the time.
Right.
All the
Yeah.
time God is good. But I remember being a kid and I liked going to church because now I didn't like having to go to the sanctuary part. Because you
Hmm.
had to sit still, not move, look at the pastor, not flinch, not whatever. But if we were able to go to Sunday school, got play game with your friends, you only saw on Sunday,
Right.
got to eat. We had Tang juice, and I'm aging myself.
I
And graham crackers for snacks.
there's a lot of tang in my past. There's a lot of tang in my past. I feel you on that one.
My mother won't let us have Tang at home. So we got Tang at church with some graham crackers, animal crackers, something like that.
Right, right.
And then we always went to Bob Evans for breakfast.
Oh, cool.
So
So
that was a
it was
memorable
a
time of
family
going to
tradition
church.
kind of a thing that
Yeah.
kind of
So I like playing with my friends I did not see
hmm.
and singing songs. So it was fun for me
Right, right, right.
until I started really going to. Then I got old enough. The Looty Crackers. Oh no. When I got older and I had to actually sit in the service, it wasn't the same.
Right.
I don't want to go deeply into my
But there's
deconstruction
there
journey.
at around that age though, a lot of that stuff starts happening. Like, oh, you gotta do this the adult way now, right? The kids' way, that's in the past. We got to be
Yeah,
adults
you
now.
got to
And
actually
so
go to service
so
now.
the expectation goes up. I remember I have a distinct memory of the moment that my parents decided that I wasn't allowed to sleep during church anymore. And so if I tried to lay down, they'd be like, no, no, you got to sit up now. And I was like, oh shoot, my brother gets to lay down. And what's up with that? I'm tired.
My grandma had a way to pinching you.
I'd
It's
had
certain pins
would
that
sneak a
pinch a
pinch in
certain
there.
the sneak pinch.
All right, all right. That'll wake
You
you
had
up.
to get up.
That'll keep you on your
Get
toes
up.
there.
Or they had a strap on a purse they could take off and just hold it
Ooh.
on their lap.
What's more Christian like than fashioning a whip and then using it when necessary?
I'm like, no, I don't want to do this.
That's funny.
I was not that kind of parent when it came to church. My kid, the only one that caused me problems would have been the youngest one. She didn't cause me problems to this day anyway. But
that's what they're for, right? That's what they're
yeah,
for. They got to keep us from settling down. They got to keep us, constantly improving, constantly getting better. I love that about kids, that they motivate us to, it's easy to, you get to be an adult and you're like, okay, this is me. This is me from here on out. And then, you get that challenge from the next generation about you got to keep up with things. You got to be constantly thinking. We got to, got to have progress. We got to be making, we got a lot to do, no settling down, no falling into ruts here. We gotta, improve this world, and that's hard work. But I love that the kids motivate that. Sorry, I derailed you.
Oh yeah, no, you're fine. No, yeah. But it was, yeah. But it would be so fun. Just like you talked about, I don't know if it was on here before, but you talked about Noah's Ark story and how the kids had questions. And now will be some of us will have some crazy questions. As you're gonna look at, sometimes the Sunday school teacher didn't even know how to answer the questions that we had.
Right.
Because it was some off the wall questions.
What really got me on that was not asking questions that the adults couldn't answer. I definitely did that. I was a very aggressive question asker as a child, but it was more the reaction. And so if I asked if they get asked a question that they don't know the answer to or that they can't explain, they would answer still from a position of authority. They would answer still from a place, well, God knows, and things like that. It was never, I don't know that. Let's figure that out. Let's look into this together. Let's ask questions. Let's explore. Let's figure it out. It was always just, nope, this is it, right? You just don't, you are just a talkative child. You just don't get it, right? And so that to me was like, oh, this is your approach, is just, if I ask a question, you just stuff it into a drawer. Is that the deal? Okay, well, that says a lot. That says a lot to me. If somebody is not even willing to examine what they just said, if they say something as if it were true and they're not willing to explore that, to me, that is just a big, my skeptic sense goes off, right? And I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, well, I guess there's no point in talking to you then.
It's no point.
Yeah.
Because I remember, she passed a few years ago. And she was like a mother figure, aunt of children. But anyway, so I remember.
You got to be careful when you say she was a mother figure. You got to be careful when you say that.
Well, she was. She didn't have any children, and so she kind of took on some of her nieces and nephews, and was more of that protector kind of person. But anyway, right. So I remember when I think my mom told her I was not a believer, because mom kind of told everybody when she found out. And I remember she lived in Vegas before she died. I remember going to Vegas, and I remember she was like, Kelly, I think it's really courageous for you not to believe. And she was like, I don't know if I can do that. She was like, but I got so many questions and so many doubts, but I don't know. I think I'll be wrong that if I feel that way. I thought for the same way that you did at one time. I said, it took time. It's not something overnight that I went through of saying, oh, one day I woke up, I don't believe in God anymore.
Right.
It took years to get to this point. I had those same questions. Then it was more questions and more questions, but no answers.
Right.
And some answers I never will have. Or why people.
Well, I think a big hurdle there is just accepting the fact that, well, maybe there's things that I'm just never going to know. Maybe there are things that we're just never going to know. Just because you don't know something doesn't make it okay to let's just make something up.
Yeah, that's the point.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so some of her friends, when they realized I was atheist niece, they was like, hey, do what I don't care. I'm doing me. Okay, so last question that
all right, bring
it. Ask What are the short-term goals do you have for your organization or yourself,
Uh-huh.
and how others can help if possible for you to achieve those goals?
Well, I think one thing that I'm uh, passionate about is promoting the idea that um, if we have these differences between our the different groups of people, I'm a very strong believer in the idea that knowledge is power. That's part of the reason that I became a teacher. I wanted to help people become powerful in their own lives. And so I want to continue that, but I also want to I want to make sure that that there's an atheist voice that people can recognize there, and there's stuff like that all over the internet these days. But we don't know what direction our society is going, and I think that's important. But I really and this is something that I say to atheists as well as to theists, and that is we need to communicate. We need to talk to each other. We have disagreements. Yeah, it's fun to watch somebody call in to a call-in show and get their arguments smacked down, and that's fun. But and I think there's a place for that. I'm not putting that approach down. I know many content creators use that approach and to very good effect, and that's fine. That's fine. I think it takes all different kinds contributing here, but my preferred approach is to talk to people. I want to understand you, and if I understand you, then if we're discussing something like religion, then it doesn't get personal because I know you, and because I know things about you, and I in my mind you're a human being, not just a cardboard cutout spouting bullet points, right? And so if there's anything that I could bring to the world is that I want us to be able to we need to be able to communicate with each. Oh, that's so freaking adorable right there. We want to be able to, we need to have love for each other, and that's even people that are on the other side of the fence. And so who
Yeah.
knows? Maybe at the end of the universe, when we have the goats lined up on one side and we have the sheep lined up on the other side, maybe we can, wave to each other across the chasm because we understand each other and because we're friends. I did have a Christian friend of mine once who said that we had talked about, and obviously, we didn't really convince each other to change our minds or anything. But I said at the end, when we're standing on the opposite side of the chasm, I'll wave to you, and that was. And so, we're all in this together. We're all human beings and we need to support each other. And I think that some of these divisive beliefs can be harmful. And so if I can promote mutual understanding in my lifetime, I will consider that a successful thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Am I clear? I mean, does it make sense?
Yeah.
Because
Exactly.
it's easy to hate other people, but it's harder to love other
just because
people.
we have differences,
right? Exactly.
Have to resonate to what we agree on.
I would say even especially because we have differences, because then that makes us a better group, right? If everybody's identical in the group, then what's the point of having other people if they're all the same as you?
Yeah, I don't want everybody to be the same. Have some differences.
Yeah, definitely.
I like pineapples and you don't on your pizza. It's fine.
I for the record, I am pro pineapple on pizza myself.
Well, damn, I'm pro pineapple too.
I know that's a hot topic. I know the chat's probably going to blow up here, but yeah, I definitely I like the salt and the sweet combo.
I am a pineapple person too.
Yep. What's your your pupper's name there?
Oh, this Sugar.
Sugar. All right. Hi, Sugar.
This is my grandpup. This is my daughter's pup. But she seemed to been hounded. So she hounded to come out, let her in, and then she hounded to leave out, and then she hounded right back to come back in.
Freaking attention hogs. Jeez.
Yeah, she will be 8 next month.
Oh, all right.
On the 21st.
So good. So a senior citizen, basically.
Yes, senior citizen, yes.
I just saw an ad the other day on Facebook. It was for like a trip somewhere. and it said, we have special deals for seniors 55 and older. And I'm like, oh,
I am almost there.
that's
Not
me.
quite,
That's
though.
me. I'm 57. So they were
Oh,
calling me
okay.
senior. So they were
I just
like,
turned 51 last week, so I
oh,
have a
okay.
little
So
few
you're
more
a
years.
youngster. You're a young pup, right?
A little few more years to go before I cross over. I'm
Right.
gonna definitely use my stuff. I already got my AARP stuff. I get my discounts already. Skip that.
All right. That's working the system right
Oh, you and
there.
Robin are the same age. Okay.
Oh yeah, yeah. Shout out to our 50. So our senior citizen group out there. I don't
Okay.
even feel 27. I still
That's
feel
what I
like I'm a
told
kid.
somebody. I might be 57 in age, but I'm like 31 in
Yeah.
reality.
Yeah, try to slow me down.
Mindset.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So this part, we're gonna do a little plugging. Anything you want to plug or anything you're doing that you want to let people know?
Like I said, I'm just I'm not doing a whole lot these days on my own, but I am one of the regular hosts on Talk Heathen. You can see us on YouTube, and you can also see us live on Sundays at 1 p.m. Central Time. And then I also do the nonprofits. The nonprofits is on hiatus right now, but you can see me on old episodes. And then once we get the show back up and running, then I'm sure I'll be part of that as well. So Talk
Are
Heathen or
you gonna be on
nonprofits are where you
any
can find me.
episode soon at the show?
Yeah, I'm
Hey,
gonna
Maya.
I'm gonna be on Talk Heathen next on, let me see, I think it's the February 15th, the day after Valentine's Day. I'm gonna be on Talk Heathen.
What time is that?
So that'll be on at 1 p.m. Central.
Okay. Oh, I won't be able to watch.
Well, fortunately, we record it for all of eternity, so so you can always watch the recording.
It might be a little competition.
That's okay.
day.
Competition is a good thing, right? It's always good to have options, and I won't take it personally if you watch the recording later. That's okay.
Yes, I will record.
I give you my permission to not watch it live that day.
Okay. Yeah, I gonna plug some stuff. For me, I have a busy week.
Yeah, you got all kinds of stuff happening, right?
Tomorrow I have Kelly Laughlin and Godless Granny. I don't want to give her last name. She's also Kelly, so we call it the Council of Kellys.
Council of Kellys. All right. What's the agenda for the Council of Kellys? Or do I have to tune in tomorrow to find out?
You can tune in tomorrow, of course. The more people watching would be better for me.
Awesome.
But no, this is another Secular Activism Unfiltered episode where we're just talking the same thing. We're talking just three of us instead of one.
Okay.
That's a person. Yeah. And then Friday will be Amber's Apostate.
Oh, all right. Well, I'm glad you could squeeze me in then.
I thank you for finally having time for me.
You knew I'd be there for you. You knew I'd be there for you.
Yeah, Wednesday to come out. Yeah. So that's this week. Sunday. Oh no, we won't be. Yeah, we will be. But Sunday, also I will be on Punk Apostate 1:00. I won't say anything else because I don't want to too much. But those are the things that's going on in the near future for me.
Cool.
So tune in. If you haven't subscribed, like, follow, subscribe. I will say I will be on Truth Wanted on the 27th.
Ooh, looking forward to that.
Everybody make sure y'all watch that. Give me some love on there. It'll be my first call-in show thing.
Maybe I'll send you a super chat if you're doing a good job.
I'll appreciate it. I won't get it.
That's true. You won't. Well, we'll have to figure something else out.
Well, I mean, if you mention my name or something, that'll be appreciative, though.
All right. We can do that.
So everybody, I thank you once again. I'm trying to talk for 5 minutes so I can be over at 2:00 exactly. But
I'm a teacher. If you need me, you need someone to fill time. We can fill time.
That'll fill time, yeah. So 5 minutes stuff. But like I said, I appreciate everybody who has liked, followed, and subscribed on my channel. If you haven't, please do that. And so I will mention. So I was, because Eli was on my channel right after Christmas time.
Uh-huh.
And Kelly was on my show previously, but something happened with the technical part. I took that video down.
Okay.
But anyway, I really appreciate how loving you guys were at that weekend. You guys didn't know me, but
Oh yeah,
you
yeah.
had me feel accepting and
Right.
stuff.
Yeah. That
And
was
then
that
also I
Back
talked
Cruise
to
weekend
Eli
last
how
summer, right?
they left us at the karaoke and they went to the arcade and nobody told us what they were doing, and we were
You
sitting
know,
in the bars.
that's okay.
we,
Okay.
we had a good time, no, me and you though,
Yeah. Yeah.
at the karaoke bar where everybody else dissed us.
You know, it is what it is, right? It is what it is. I
Yeah, like,
I had a good time. We had a good party back at the house
we
there
did,
too.
we
Yeah.
did, we did, we did. We had a lot of fun and stuff like that. And Laughlin is the party king.
He definitely he brings us a special something to the table, right? Special something. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that. That's all we're
Yeah.
gonna say.
Yep. Yep.
Once again, I
But
thank you
thanks. I really appreciate you having me on the show, Kelly.
Yes.
It was always fun to talk to you. Thanks for the
Always.
love in the chat. Also, I had a great time. So
Yes.
I'll come back anytime you want to have me back.
Oh, I appreciate it so
Yeah.
much. I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate the people in the chat, like I said once again. And until next time, I hope everybody has a great day as I venture off to work.
All right. Have a good
Bye,
one.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride.